Welcome to the Word of the Week. Today we're talking about life skills. It's those things that we need for our daily lives. Recently I wrote a curriculum. It's called Finding Resilience in Today's World, Being Intentional About Self-Care. In that curriculum, I put 8 self-care steps that God showed me on how I do daily living, on how I live a resilient life. Another word for those self-care steps is life skills. The curriculum was initially written with language for the military, but just recently I spent some time at a teen challenge with a youth group, or I wouldn't say a youth group, but this teen challenge has young men from 14 to 17 years old in their program, and they don't use self-care steps. What they use is they use life skills. So just another way of saying self-care steps. And we were talking about my new curriculum that I just released, and man, the Teen Challenge academic advisor was like, "Oh my goodness, John, this is so powerful. This is exactly what our students need for their life skills." And all of a sudden I had this aha moment. It was just like an epiphany that went off, and I was like, wow, that's exactly what this curriculum is. Yes, for the military, it's self-care because I'm using their language, but for other groups, it's life skills. So let me just simply talk you through the very first step in self-care for the military or life skills for any other organization, such as Teen Challenge. What I found in my life through the 8 steps that God showed me, John, you were shot at Fort Hood, and how you made it over these last 11 years is how you applied these life skills to your life. This is how you and Angel made it. So step number 1 is identifying your source of resilience. Or in the veteran community, and maybe even in student life, you hear this term, resilience. What does that mean? That means when life knocks you down, what is that inner strength that helps you get back up? And so in our curriculum, Finding Resilience in Today's World, Being Intentional About Self-Care, what I talk about is step number 1 is, as you're applying life skills, you have to identify what is going to be that inner strength that's going to get you through when life happens, when the kitchen sink flips upside down and you are trying to just breathe, just get back up. What is that inner source? Well, friends, we get a choice. It's not the same for everyone. So when you get broken or something happens in your life, what is that thing that you grab onto that becomes your source? The thing that's going to be that inner strength? Well, back in the day as a young soldier, it was easy for me to grab alcohol because I had a long day, or we trained hard, so now I can work hard. We hear that. But there's some people, they grab onto addictions, they grab onto pornography. Their spouse becomes their source of resilience, becomes that inner strength. But when they're up, you're up. When they're down, you're down. So that's definitely not a good source. For me, when I was broken, when I was shot at Fort Hood, Jesus became the source, the source of my resilience. And he became the foundation of my resilience. And then what he did is he put me in the hands of doctors and nurses and counselors and chaplains and pastors and everything else I needed to put this boy back together. But at the core, my source of resilience became Jesus. You can grab the wrong source. And if you grab onto the wrong source, it could actually be the thing that harms you. So it is important that you grab onto a source that is proven. Okay, so just think about this. Going back to what I talked about in life skills. So step number 1 in our curriculum, which is self-care for the military, but life skills for someone else. Maybe it's a parent that's doing homeschooling with their kids and they're saying, we're going to teach you how to be a strong woman, a strong man. And these are life skills that you need to apply to your life. Number 1 is identifying your source of resilience. All right. Hey, look, we're going to go through all 8 steps, and we're going to be talking about how this curriculum can apply to your public school, how can it apply to your children, how it can apply to that homeschool co-op, because these are life skills that will help every single person in any walk of life, in any environment. We're gonna get through all 8 steps of self-care and all 8 steps of life skills. All right, I'm John Arroyo, and we'll be talking to you soon. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to A Life Transformed John Arroyo and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also don't forget to go to alifetransformed.com, check out our store, see what we're doing. There's all kinds of swag for you. We got all of our books, and this curriculum is available for you right at that store. All right, I'm gonna see you next week. I'll talk to you soon.